Welcome back. We've been talking about some really expensive guitars recently, and I decided I wanted to do the opposite. So I've got just about the cheapest guitar I could get my hands on. This is the Ibanez Geo GRX 40. It comes in 4 colors: metallic light blue, metallic light green, candy apple red, and black knight. Finally, we got an adjective on a black guitar. That's good. Yeah, this is the most insanely affordable guitar I've ever seen. Let's find out if it's good. So this is a pretty fun little guitar. I'm a little bit biased towards Ibanez Geos. My first guitar was a Geo, and I still have it. It's unrecognizable, but it's pretty cool. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Anyway, let's talk about what makes it up. Now, in terms of the wood this is made of, this is one of those guitars where it's confusing to explain to someone buying their first guitar why they should spend so much more money and not just get something like this. Because we've got a maple neck, we've got a Jatoba fretboard, we've got a poplar body, 25.5-inch scale, 22 medium frets, and a 305mm radius, which is equal to 12-inch radius. So it's standard, right? So this is the first point I'd like to make about this guitar. We talk a lot in the sort of guitar nerd world about like types of wood and the impact on the tone and stuff like that. This is a $350 guitar, and it has a maple neck, and it has a poplar body, and it has a Jatoba fretboard. If you were getting something higher end, it probably wouldn't be Jatoba, it might be actual rosewood. But even then, I don't feel like we're missing out on anything with the actual quality of the wooden parts at any rate. More on the quality of parts later. In terms of the build construction, it all looks pretty good. Neck pocket looks tidy, the fret ends aren't sharp, you know, the string placement is nice, the finish is surprisingly good, and feels pretty good. It's kind of hard to complain about a guitar like this when it costs so little and it feels really solid. Let's play a little bit more. We'll kick over and we'll do some clean stuff. We'll get onto the neck position. Okay, so in terms of hardware on this thing, let's be straight up. It's all cheap hardware. They gotta keep the cost down somehow. That doesn't mean it's bad necessarily, but it does mean that it has higher potential for failure. This is nothing to write home about, right? We got unbranded tuners, unbranded bridge. The one thing that is quite cool that I will point out is this new type of input jack that they've started putting on some guitars. This is a plastic input jack, and it's just one piece. So there's nothing to unscrew or spin around in there. It's just fixed, and you jam the lead in and take it out, and there's no things to attach or detach. So I'm really interested to see how well these hold up in terms of longevity, but I'm hopeful that they're going to save a lot of people having your input jack come loose and trying to spin it around and snapping off a wire and, oh no, my guitar's not working and I don't know why. In terms of the electronics, we've got a 5-way switch, we've got a volume knob, we've got a tone knob, and we've got 3 pickups. So we've got an Infinity RS in the neck and the middle position, and an Infinity R in the bridge. And they sound alright. Nothing to write home about, right? But they do the job. If you put them through some good gear, they're going to sound pretty cool. I'm going to put this thing on the middle position, play a little bit more, and then we'll talk about who should get this guitar and what I think you should do with it. I've sold out now. I've demoed a guitar by playing the blues. It's all downhill from here. So before we get any further, thanks to MusicWorks Albany for lending me this guitar. If you want to check it out, see how good it is for how little investment, head up there, have a little noodle on it. It's a lot of fun. I love good, cheap guitars, and this definitely ticks that box for me. But before we finish up, I want to talk about, if you did buy this guitar, what would be the best things to upgrade about it? Because my point of view on guitars, you're paying for a neck, and you're paying for whatever shape you like down here and whatever shape you like up here, and almost anything else can be changed, especially with a Strat. And this is a Strat style guitar. So if I was going to buy one of these, my first upgrade would be the tuners. I'd probably spend 80 bucks on some Goto tuners or something like that, and then you just never have to worry about that for the rest of your life. So that's a pretty big return for a pretty small investment. After that, it's very much personal preference, but I find these pickups sound a little bit thin and I'm struggling to get enough volume out of them. So my second upgrade would be new pickups. After that, maybe a new bridge, maybe some Graphtec saddles, that type of thing. Maybe a new nut, just help keep that tuning stability really solid. Maybe a slightly more comfortable bridge. If you're like me and you just lock the bridge straight down, then this is probably fine, to be honest. And after all that, if you find you're playing and you find it's a bit buzzy, just get a luthier, fret level it, and you'll be away. So yeah, that's how I'd go about it. Or if you just like to mod guitars and you want something cheap to play with, this is a pretty good place to start, I think. Anyway, I'll play a little bit more. I should say as well, I've got the bridge and the middle pickup both on for this little jam, so that's what we're dealing with. Thanks for checking in. I'll see you next time.